Welcome to Life with the Spectrum. I'm your host, Gina Cavalli, and I get a lot of questions actually about advocacy and what it looks like. How do you start it? Are you immediately an advocate because you're a parent to a child with disabilities? And that's not always the case. So I thought we should probably speak with a legit advocate. With me today, Shannon Mattox. She is the former state director of the ARC here in Georgia, but she is an advocate of diversity, disability, equity, and inclusion. Welcome to the show, Shannon Mattox. Hi, Shannon. How you doing?
Hey there, Gina. I'm well. How about you?
I'm good. Thanks for being on the show. Now, you just came off of a very successful run of being the former state director at the ARC Georgia. Really quick for viewers who are not familiar, what does the ARC of Georgia do?
The ARC is a organization that's been serving people and working alongside people with disabilities for over 70 years now. It is a advocacy organization, and under that umbrella, there are many ways that the organization advocates.
And Shannon, you've run everything from the ARC to the Boy Scouts to a YMCA. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you feel as an advocate these organizations are getting right?
Well, number one, at the core of who I am, the way I was raised and just was in me organically is that they're mission-minded organizations, and I think that's why my soul was led to be with these organizations, serving those who were youth. You mentioned the Boy Scouts, the Y, helping people health-wise. That could mean mentally, that could mean physically, but also the disabled or people in the disability community, as well as their caregivers, and helping young people with their educational goals and to become productive citizens who are included in society and very successful. And another thing, as a Black woman, that I do not want to fail to mention is that a lot of these organizations have had different things, including myself, even if it's to serve all. I think that it's really important as a minority, a woman who is Black and also a person of African descent, who also is the mother of a child with multiple disabilities, to bring to the forefront, eliminate stigma, and help those who are systematically disadvantaged in many ways.
I love sitting with you today, Shannon Mattox, who is the advocate for diversity, disability, equity, and inclusion. When we get back, we're going to find out how you started with your advocacy. Stay with me.
There is a reason that Atlanta Swim Academy is #1, with over 760 five-star Google reviews. We are the absolute leading swim school in the greater Atlanta area. We are Atlanta Swim Academy.
Welcome back to Life with the Spectrum. I'm your host, Gina Cavalli. With me today, Shannon Mattox, who is an advocate with diversity, disability, equity, and inclusion. And, you seem to have worked with so many wonderful organizations. Not everybody can just say, hey, I'm an advocate. Just because you're a mom to a son or a daughter with a disability doesn't make you an immediate advocate. So share it for viewers who are interested in advocacy, how they get started, Shannon.
Sure. There are some people who are like, again, naturally, that's what they do. They go out, they fight for the underdog. A lot
Yep.
of us who have different life experiences that call for us to have to do those things to make some gains in this world. Again, a woman, a person of color, but also I have a child who has multiple disabilities. So sometimes that's there, but sometimes we just don't know what to do. No one, for example, when you are pregnant or your family becomes pregnant, you don't imagine that you may have a child who is disabled, right? And nobody is sitting there when you get that diagnosis all the time saying these are the resources that are available. So what I try to do personally, and what I've tried to do in different positions career-wise, is to provide people with resources, spread the news about what is available, subscribe to different websites or podcasts like yours, Gina, to be on the forefront of, getting that information. Google is our best friend, right? These days. So many years ago, that didn't exist, but you could Google advocacy organizations in your area, or different things that you may think are in alignment specifically with that need or that thing that you need resources or you want to jump in and help with. Here in the state of Georgia, there are some groups that I'm involved with, like Care Can't Wait Coalition with Caring Across Generations. As a caregiver, I'm involved, but as a professional, I've been involved. And what Care Can't Wait does is to advocate and try to make some gains on the movement as far as direct support professionals, who are one of the lowest paid professionals but do the most important work, some of the most important work that we need done. They have very low wages across the United States, but here in Georgia, advocating for our early childhood professionals, those fall in alignment with that, and unpaid professionals who do this work like us. We do this because it's a love. We have a family, we have children, but sometimes our elderly need direct support professionals as well. We have a saying in the disability community that if you live long enough, hopefully if you live long enough, you'll end up with a disability too. So we all may need some sort of support at some point in time. Also, I work with a group called Unlock 2.0.
I love Jose and the crew over at Focus started that. Yes.
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 That group, we advocate for home and community-based services. At the bottom of this, there's more money, more things need to be allowed for people to live inclusively in their homes, right? Even though you're disabled, you still want to be a part of community. You still want to live as independently as possible, right? Many people. So that's one thing that we work for. We also work for the increase in funding for direct support professionals. But the waiver program here in Georgia, if you know anything about that, that is also something that helps to support people have more inclusive lives and get the supports they needed when they're disabled. So we need more slots available because currently there are about close to 8,000 people on the waiting list here in Georgia.
Yeah,
So
it's a little out of control. I know. Getting back to the advocacy, it's kind of funny because I always try to teach and instill Lyric becoming his own advocate, right? Because mom's not always going to be there to advocate for you, and so it's really important to start our kids very young to advocate for themselves. And for a neurotypical child, you even have to work with them. For one on the spectrum, it's to the umpth degree. And so it's something that advocacy can start at a very early age, no matter what disability you have or your family member has. And then you tend to reinvent yourself. Shannon, I want to take a quick break with my sponsors, but when we get back, I want to find out you have some really cool things on the horizon, and I can't wait for you to share it with everyone. Stay with me.
It can be hard to find a sitter you can trust, even more so if your child has special needs, autism, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome. As parents, we have to protect our children. My Special Sitter has you covered, in-home or on the go. When you need a sitter you can trust, respite is just a click away at myspecialsitter.org.
Welcome back to Life with the Spectrum. I'm your host, Gina Cavalli. With me today, Shannon Mattox, who is an advocate of not just diversity and disability, but equity and inclusion. And we were just kind of talking about self-advocacy, and we have a lot of self-advocacy groups right here in Atlanta, and I wish there were more across the country. And with that, I think you're reinventing yourself and going on to do something pretty amazing. Care to share what that is?
yeah, so I'm glad that you brought up a little earlier self-advocacy. I advocate for my child and others, but we do want to teach our children, teach our children early, be empowered. Come to the IEP meetings, the individualized educational planning meetings. Some of us, again, we don't know the laws. We don't know what the resources are. There are groups out here that provide you with those resources. Myself, I came from Wisconsin before I got here, and I got involved with groups like Disability Rights of Wisconsin and the the Department of Public Instruction, their Special Education Council. Special education is near and dear to my heart because number one, it's helping youth. But again, we don't always know what the laws are. We sometimes feel like, well, the educators are in position, so they know everything. No, we have to empower ourselves and empower our children, which is now that led me to disability advocacy, but also is leading me to do some things on my own, like you said, Gina.
I can't wait for you to tell everybody. Spill the beans.
I get to go back to finishing up a book. So I'm working on a book I started that helps to motivate and empower caregivers, parents, and you could even be a professional and gain something from this book with resources and a bit of a memoir telling my story as a Black or mother of African descent with a Black disabled child and a mother overall, learning about this, how to navigate this world with special education and waiver and different things like that, which married my professional background in nonprofit as a nonprofit executive to being a advocate in this world that we live in. So hopefully I get to help other parents.
I think this book is going to be a really, it's a much needed book because while everybody has their story to tell, right? Not everybody also knows how to become an advocate, or they think they already are an advocate, but they're really missing the boat. And there's other things that they need to do. So I'm really excited for you to put this book out and finish your doctorate and go on to do some amazing things for your son and your family. I know that it's a long time coming, and you certainly have the business acumen behind you, right? And having run so many great organizations and be at the forefront of change, like you said, there in Wisconsin, and now right here at home in Georgia. So I'm excited, and the future is bright for you and your son for sure.
And we need representation across the board, and people should be unafraid to tell their story. And, living with a disability is a beautiful thing. It's not something that we need to be ashamed of. I always say that it's like, I have on contacts today. I needed those to come and be able to see you and do this interview. That's the way we should look at.
How many fingers am I holding up? No, I'm just kidding.
25.
Right?
So.
What I wanted to touch on too, really quickly, because you have mentioned a couple of times here, you're a Black woman with a child with different disabilities. This also comes into play for our Hispanic population and our Asian population. Not too many people are out there on the forefront and on the front lines of becoming an advocate and doing what is right for their particular ethnicity. So I really like if we could grab more people. And you could grab more people. I think you might actually start adding some chapters to your book.
It's the disability community is the largest of all of these groups, but you're right. When I first started in Wisconsin, I saw a lot of I saw people who were a lot older than me. Doesn't mean, but they have that history, right? They have that wisdom. We need wisdom in order to do anything in this world, right? But I think that it would be great to see younger people, people of all ages represented. We do need more of the Asian population, more of the more people of color in general to share their experiences and to feel like they're embraced in community and to tell their stories. And a big part of advocacy is becoming knowledgeable about what the laws are, changing legislation, working with your legislators to let them know what your personal stories are. Because one myth I think that a common citizen may think is that our legislators know everything. They don't always know everything. So be unafraid to pick up the phone, make a phone call, send an email, go down and visit them. They're public servants and they're there to serve us. Bring pictures of your children when you go to make that more personal, and tell how certain things are affecting you, and, give your advice about what you think changes can be made.
And Shannon, how can people get in touch with you? If they have questions, if they don't know where to go, can they reach out to you via LinkedIn or via your email? What's your...
Yes.
handle?
I am on LinkedIn. My name is the common name spelling of Shannon, Shannon. And my last name is M like Mary, A apple, T time, O oxygen, X X-Men. And my email address is Shannon, SHANNON, the number 2 at gmail.com. That's Shannon Mattox at gmail.com.
I love it. Shannon, thank you so much for being on the show today and being a force for good.
Thank you, Gina. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate this. We need to spread the word more, and I appreciate you for all the work you're putting in for our community. Thank you.
Amen. I cannot wait to read Shannon's book, right? I mean, like, you think you're an advocate and then you definitely try to get your kids to advocate for themselves. But I have a feeling like Shannon's new book is really going to shed and open our eyes to the world of advocacy and ways that we can work better and smarter and help our kids even that much more. You know what I mean? No matter where you live in the country, if you know somebody, an organization, or maybe you have a tool or a resource that's making the world of difference in the world of disabilities, I want to know about it so we can feature them on the show. They're worth talking to. Having that 5-10 minute conversation is huge because then it brings awareness to people that may not otherwise know about it. And that's what this show is all about. So thanks again, week after week, for checking out Life with the Spectrum. Till next time. See ya.
Bye.